What's that?
Your name and position with the Green Lantern movie.
Oh, I'm Butch Lukic. I'm the executive producer.
Executive producer. There you go. Usually get some notes.
So what was the process? How did this movie come about? Like when we're going to do a Jon Stewart movie? Like,
Yeah, so me and Jim Krieg, we had to pitch to DC and Jim Lee, like, what we're going to do with this universe and what characters are going to be coming in. So step by step, we had to, give him a pitch on each storyline. And, it was always in our minds that we'd do Jon Stewart because 6 years ago when I was doing Justice League Action, I was asked from fans, well, when are you going to bring in Jon Stewart? I said, next year. And then our show got canceled, so that never happened. So at this point, I figured, all right, well, we're doing the DTVs, I can put him in there now. And originally we were going to just do Jon Stewart and Green Arrow traveling across the U.S. in a convertible. The Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil stories. But then I realized I couldn't do it because of the cost of doing all those backgrounds for each state. Or even if we went to 10 states, it still would have been a lot of work. And we couldn't, there was no way to approach it. Plus, driving in a convertible in animation, you have to animate the characters with the vehicle. It's tough. So I decided, screw it, we're going to space, So these guys came up with the storyline as far as how and what's going to happen up there. And, again, based more on Apocalypse Now as far as how we get towards the ultimate, the end of the road for this movie.
So when it comes, this is part of what's now the Tomorrowverse, right? Like these new animated films. Do you have a direction that you're working towards, or are you still in the process of putting together this world that you're building?
Yeah, we had to map it out all in the beginning. So we do have an idea. Things have changed, things have varied as we went along. Just like I said, what the original storyline was going to be for this, but we have a path that we have to go to. But how we get there can be moved around and changed.
I feel like Hal Jordan's always been the highlight of like the Green Lantern universe.
Right.
Will this movie determine that Jon Stewart is the better Green Lantern here, or we just get unknown?
Not better, but the incidents in the story will tell you what's going on. I guess I can't say anything because I haven't seen it yet. But no, I mean, Hal Jordan starts out as, this is the greatest Green Lantern that you have to live up to.
Right.
So, and obviously Jon Stewart's like, what? You want me to live up to that? Because he just got the win.
Right.
So that's kind of the basis of the start of the story.
Why was it important to get this story out, Jon Stewart?
Well, one, it's we're building our Justice League up, so I felt each film should kind of introduce someone and give them, for fans that aren't versed on the characters, give them. This isn't his original origin, and it's an origin that we created, so it works for where we're going with things.
The movie has Green Arrow and Vixen. Love her. Will you go back and give their stories? Are you focusing on maybe having some active characters and then building new ones with their stories?
Yeah, I mean, all the characters we can't give them their full story, but they are going to be in the next films, And at some, I think we have a little bit more Vixen than what she was involved in this cameo. And Green Arrow, obviously, him and Jon Stewart, this is their film. With Hawkgirl, I guess, too. But yeah, as we carry on, whatever we pick up for other members, we're doing in the next films.
was there any limit, like, on how many other, auxiliary characters or co-star characters that were brought in?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a limit because of the amount of money we're allowed to do voice acting. So there's always a limit. I can throw in 30 Lantern Corps into the scenes, but I can't give them voice. They're just going to be in fighting, doing things like that, but they won't have any dialogue or anything like that. So that's kind of the problem with working on these budgeted movies. You have to kind of do trickery to get other characters in. They can be background characters, but upfront characters, they have to have dialogue. So.
Was there anything after seeing the final product you wish you could have said, man, I really wanted to put this in there, but it didn't make it? Like, it's going to be on the deleted scenes on that Blu-ray? Or?
Well, yeah, I mean, the film was longer than what we finalized, but that was all in the animatic board stage. We had a longer film, but we were like 10 minutes over. So there's certain things that we had to cut out, and there was just no choice. I had to move the whole first 5 minutes into the second act and create it as a flashback only. So it was condensed in a 5-minute sequence down to probably a minute and a half. So there's quite a bit of juggling around.
But you were still able to make this longer than a normal DCAU film.
Yeah, it's because what we do is I'll squeeze down the footage count or the timing on the animatic to where there's no animation, so I'll go down to 0. Then when we get it back, we blow it back up and add more footage and length and, pauses and things like that. Or I do some creative retakes where I add a longer, I make the scene longer by adding some animation, but they're very strict as far as when we ship stuff, it has to be at this footage count. But there's ways around it. So originally we sent probably 78 minutes worth, but we blew it up to about 87 minutes long. So, but that's kind of the process of how we have to do things. We go over budget. We went over budget on a previous movie, and then that eats into the next movie. So there's a cutoff point.
And you would think with the way it's distributed, you would have a bigger budget because this is going directly to, Blu-ray and digital.
I know, but they've always said that they break even. I don't know. What am I going to say to that? But overall, I think since HBO Max has come in, they've these are doing a little bit better because of the exposure. They're more accessible.
Right.
So we'll see. I did get a larger budget, more than James did, because I told him, look, if I'm taking over, you can't be giving me a budget that James has been working on for 7 years. You got to give me more money. But, they gave it to us, but it's still not enough, as usual.
I would assume that hiring Hawkman was like 90% of your budget to get,
Yeah, look, when we got Aldous, this was pre-everything. He was still, lesser known. Now he's kind of exploded, sure, but we got him about 2.5 years ago. So the only thing I saw him in was The Invisible Man and the TV show he did. But before, now he's exploded. That's great for us, and he loves it. He loves these characters. He's an artist himself. He went to our art center.
What can you tell us about the relationship between Green Arrow and John? Like, did they get along at first? Because you mentioned like the road trip.
Yeah. No, we wanted it to be the odd couple, so that was the intention. And we stuck with that as far as this version. So they don't like each other, and they're at odds throughout the whole film until finally something snaps and, they become buddies. But I think that type of storyline would, but it was originally intended as a buddy film, but obviously yin and yang. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much.